Hello, everyone. Welcome to NerdChat. Today, I'm going to be covering Superman Batman issue number 1. Because, Superman and Batman working together is always fun. And there is animated films about these, but I wanted to go through the comics because, one, they're a little bit different, and two, it's just nice to go through them again because they're fun, and I love team-up comics. So this issue begins with Superman and Batman both remembering their origins. So for Clark, it's a dream of his parents sending him off in the rocket, but for Bruce, it's the night where his parents were shot in the alley. Clark remembers a bright, beautiful colors around him as his ship rocketed away, and Bruce remembers the sound of a gun firing, the blood, the smell of gunpowder. And Clark, so he remembers the rocket landing in Smallville, and he's found by the Kents, and that's when his childhood truly began. But for Bruce, he remembers sitting in an alley watching his parents die, and that's when his childhood ended. So the whole beginning of this comic is really about the whole comic itself is really about the comparisons about what made Superman into what he is and what made Batman into what he is. So seeing the comparison of their lives through just the comparison of how they became who they were and how different it is, but they still became heroes regardless, but they had to become heroes of different sorts because of what made them into who they are and what they were gifted with. So this goes into next thing we see is Clark reminiscing about how his parents taught him to side with justice. He used his powers from another world to become a hero seen as an inspiration and a champion, and he's had a good life. Batman, on the other hand, his parents his parents' killer were never brought to justice. He cloaks himself in shadows, and he's become known as an urban myth, a frightening creature, a boogeyman. And he wouldn't wish this life on anyone. So it's just so different that they both are heroes. It's not like, this is new to anyone, but it's very interesting to see it be so well displayed and compared, next to each other. This now rolling into the actual story. Superman is flying over the city thinking about how this is the best part of his job. Flying high, seeing the horizon, and there's an attack on Star Labs, which Superman is arriving to stop. But once he goes in, he's launched out of the building from a punch that he actually felt. He then has to catch the crane that he had crashed into, and he throws it clear of the city. And he looks down and calls out Metallo, asking why he does this. He's in his mind, he's wondering why his villains seem to be stuck on this cycle and this never-ending battle. He calls down to Metallo, asking why he does this. How did he expect this to go when he got out of bed? And Metallo blasts Superman with some kryptonite, saying he never asked to become this monster with a heart of kryptonite. He knocks down Superman, but leaves, saying that he doesn't want Superman dead, and he jumps off and gets away. So Dr. Christine from Star Labs shows up to help Superman, and Superman asks what was so important that Metallo tore up Star Labs. So now we go to Gotham, and now we see Batman's side of this. Batman thinking that this is his best part of the job. He's in the rain at night in a graveyard, working a crime scene before anyone else gets there, so no one has disturbed any evidence, and Batman has the best chance to catch a criminal. But Superman suddenly appears behind him, and he thinks to himself that he loves that he can do that to Batman, because no one can sneak up on Batman, but because Superman can be there instantly, he has that ability. But Batman says, you could have called. And Superman says it was faster to fly straight here than to make a phone call. And Batman thinks to himself, well, we'll have to test that at some point. But Superman helps Batman out of the grave, telling him that the man that Bruce is looking for is John Corbin. While Metallo operates out of Metropolis, his life actually started in Gotham City, and his human remains are in the graveyard that Batman is investigating. Metallo, he dug up, so Batman asks, why did he dig up so many graves if he was just here for his own? But Superman says that John probably dug up several graves to kind of just slow Batman down, or at least throw Batman off the trail. And Bruce looks at him and says, like, looks at Superman, and he's like, who here is supposed to be the detective? And Superman looks back at him, he's like, hey, I'm an investigative journalist. But Superman tries to tell Batman something else. He's trying to say, like, Batman, something else you should know. But then Metallo pops up out of the ground carrying his own casket. So Batman rushes Metallo and grabs him, but Metallo grabs him with an extendable arm and, like, pushes Batman away, saying that no one will stop him. Superman tells him to put Batman down, and he cuts off Metallo's arm with some heat vision. But during this, Superman is thinking about his respect for Batman on, you know, like, the hero inside of him drives him to fight these villains that are outside of, you know, Batman's, you know, capacity. Batman's just a normal man. But Superman has immense respect for the fact that Batman goes out every night and still tries to fight people that, you know, are far above anything that, you know, a normal person is capable of. But what he doesn't respect is Batman's, constant, need of vigilance, trying to make up for his parents' murder. Because he doesn't exactly find it heroic, he just finds it, he sees it as a war, and Superman doesn't have respect for that part of Batman's mentality. But Metallo, while he's fighting Superman, says that it's his birthday, and he has what he came for, and he's going to leave, but he is going to leave Superman with a gift. As he's fighting Superman, he pulls out a gun and shoots Superman with a kryptonite bullet. As Batman is running towards Superman, he thinks about how careless Clark can be with all of his power, because he can forget how vulnerable he can be. You can be faster than a speeding bullet, but when that bullet's made of kryptonite, it doesn't do him any good. So Batman slaps some explosives on Metallo and jumps down into the grave that Superman has just fallen into, and Batman is trying to work as fast as he can to try to get the kryptonite bullet out of Superman before Clark's healing, closes the wound around him, because Batman's not going to be able to open it back up with anything but kryptonite. So he's telling Superman, he's like, I'm trying to work as fast as I can. And Superman says, where's the Flash when you need him? And Batman looks down and he's like, do me a favor and lose the sense of humor. And Superman looks back up at him and says, hey, do us both a favor and buy one. And Batman's close to getting the bullet out. However, Metallo starts burying them alive. And he successfully does. He buries them completely. And then he starts walking off saying, happy birthday to me. So now we go to a meeting room where President Lex Luthor is meeting with a whole bunch of scientists about a kryptonite meteor that is coming straight for Earth. So it's a large meteor. Naturally, that would be bad for Superman, but also bad for the Earth. So it's not something that they should be able to have Superman take care of, because his power is, completely nullified by kryptonite. But several people say that they should at least inform Superman that this is happening and see if there's anything that he can do about it. But Lex Luthor says, no, this is a closed meeting, and whatever happens in this room stays in this room. I don't want this getting out because the public will go into panic. So we'll deal with it ourselves. And he looks at a team of heroes of his own that he has that reports right to him that work for the government. And he says, Superman has saved us enough. So isn't it time that we return the favor? And it highlights some of the heroes, but we don't see all of them. A lot of them are silhouetted, but we do know a few of them, but we'll get to them in the next issue. But that's the end of this issue. It wasn't a whole lot to it, because a lot of it was just the comparison of the two heroes. But it's still a really good story, and there's a few more issues left, so I hope that you will stay tuned to see the rest of it. So the next part of this will be out in another week, or the week after. I'm not sure, I gotta look at my schedule. But so I will release this entire story over the course of the next few weeks. So if you're new here, this is what I do most often. I break down comic books so that, if you are someone who has not read a whole lot of comics yourself, but you are interested in superheroes from TV shows, movies, you've read a few comics over the years, but, you just can't spend your money on it or whatever, but you want to be versed in more stories, this is basically what I cover. So if you haven't been here before, I hope that you subscribe for more of this. And I do leave a lot of stuff out of the comic, so if you really do like it, you can always pick it up yourself. Or if you're impatient to get to the end, you can also just pick up the whole rest of the comic and read through before I finish. But thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. If you want to talk to me directly, there's a link to my Discord in the description below, and you can come in there and suggest videos to me and other topics that you like to hear, because I do more than just cover stories. But I'll also leave links to videos as well. And also, if you are interested in just a little bit more of me, there is a gaming channel that I do stream directly to here, but I also I take those videos off of here because I don't want to bombard it with video game streams, and I back everything up to another channel where you can just go and check that out at any time of your leisure. So if you're just looking for more content, there's plenty of it up on the screen now, and I hope that I'll see you around. Thank you. Goodbye.